I'm recording you. Do you want to do the intro?
Nope. It's me, Lorene Campbell. God, okay, now I got to start over because I couldn't even say my own last name. Wait, I can't see which way I'm doing. One of them
I don't know either.
Correct.
It's backwards. I'm gonna edit this out, but I'm gonna insert like dance music. So, hang on just a second. I just realized my microphone is not close enough.
I keep forgetting that you can edit all this stuff. I'm trying to be like.
And
exactly.
I had a thought. And it's gone.
It leaves no evidence. Yep.
If you're sorry, I burped.
Hey, Suspish! It's Lorene Campbell here with Jack Adams.
Hi!
And we are on episode 50! 50! So yeah, so we are at a milestone of somewhat.
Yes! And it's so exciting. I feel like we should have some sort of birthday party.
I know, right?
Yeah, things have been going great in the group. Thank you.
Right? Yeah.
Thank you so much. I mean, I know we've talked about it before, how we were stuck in the red. We are stuck in the mud for so long. We are back on green.
And going strong.
So thank you guys. There are still some posts out there because everybody's on post approval. So there are some posts that are still out there that are not for this group, such as GoFundMe pages.
Yep.
Putting, the job offers out there, which is a little different from Suspish member biz days.
Right.
But when you kind of spamming people with these job offers and we see them.
Right.
So we see that kind of stuff. That's a big no-no.
No.
That stuff doesn't go in. And this is also why we keep everybody on post approval.
Post approval.
Sure
yep.
that the posts that are submitted are appropriate for this group.
Exactly.
Yes. So, I see we've got matching shirts.
Oh, we sure do.
Look at the Bailey. Representing Bailey up in here. And I've got my Suspish in sweatshirt that's hanging over here. I was cold this morning, but I had to take it off because I got hot.
That was me earlier. I was I feel like I was in a sauna.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is. Now I'm nice and comfy.
So the group is doing really well.
It's doing very amazing.
Yeah.
Very amazing. I mean, the posts have been what we need them to be.
Yes, girl.
Haven't had to boot anybody out. Haven't had to tell nobody, hey, you can't be talking like that.
Yeah.
Keep
it uplifting, encouraging. And then also, if you guys see anything that we might have missed as a team, if you see negative comments or if there's something that you feel that you don't think it belongs, bring it to the attention of one of us. So, message one of us directly or tag us in that post and we'll review it. Don't hit report to admin because that goes directly to Facebook. So let us, as the team members, handle it first. That way we can evaluate it. And if we need to, we can talk to you further about that situation. So
exactly, because that gets us closer to being back into the red. And we don't want to go there again.
We don't want to go there. We want to avoid that at all costs.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Even though, speaking of red, that is our new weekly challenge.
Yes, I first one for January. And you were using the Crime Chat palette, I heard.
Yes, I did use the Crime Chat palette. It was amazing. It was awesome. I love it.
So, yeah, I posted mine yesterday, my red look. But yeah, that was the first week. So we're this year, our first look of the month is always going to be like the month color.
Right.
Like, so
Yeah.
January is red, February is purple. So you can expect purple to be in the
Cool.
first look for February.
Yep.
So we're kind of doing
Which
it a
is
little
pretty cool.
theme.
Right.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
It really is.
I like it.
Yep. I did too.
So first week was red. And then
Mhm.
the second one that just came out is your interpretation of the New Year's glasses. So New Year's Eve glasses.
Yes.
If you can imagine people wearing like the 2023 glasses,
Mm-hmm.
look, just draw it on your face. What's your interpretation of a 2023 like New Year's Eve party?
Mm-hmm.
You know, glasses.
That's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't have to be spectacular.
And none of these looks have to be spectacular.
Absolutely.
You just got to give it a go.
Yes.
Just try it. You know, you're in a safe spot.
Yes.
You don't have to worry about ridicule or anything, you know. We're here to support you. I mean, and I've done it myself. Even if you do, now the glasses challenge might be a little different, but I've done challenges where I just done one eye.
Yeah.
And that's all I did was just took a picture of my eye.
Yeah.
And put it in, you know. So, I mean, the challenges are easy. Everybody supports everybody, you know, and then the winners are chosen at random.
It's like the participation winner. I mean, it's not a, first place, second, although there are times that we do that. True. The monthly challenges are just that, participation, and the winners are selected at random. So if you do one entry per look, so there's 4 that come out in a month, then that's you get up to those 4 entries on the random wheel.
Right.
We have a new way to participate. So while before everybody kind of posted and made sure you use the hashtag, right? You can still do that.
Right.
So now for us, there's a lot of participation. So for us to make sure that we capture everybody's submission on the initial post of that announcement, you can always search for Genia's posts, right? Genia Almond. Search for her post because she's the one that releases all of the looks. And you want to enter in as a comment. So reply to that post as a comment, add your picture. You can still do Suspish, January 23 or whatever, news those posts because we want everybody to see it. But for your initial entry, we're going to do that and try it out and see because we want to make sure we catch everybody.
Everybody, right. Yeah, because sometimes they don't all show up or somebody doesn't spell Suspish right. Or they miss something.
Yeah.
So then it's not being added to the drawing because it wasn't in the actual thing.
Right? That's the whole purpose is to participate. So to make sure that we do capture everybody, and again, feel free to post and use the hashtag, but go ahead and submit your picture also as a comment on the initial post, which I forgot to do yesterday when I submitted my red one. I'm going to have to go back and
I'm
add
glad
my
you
picture.
said that because I got to go do that today.
Yes, exactly. So it's just a little bit of a change. And we mentioned at the end of last year, we've got some changes and got some fresh things that are kind of coming up. So the other thing that we have that's changing up a little bit is Lorene, you had put a post out there about new team members.
I did. And we actually had a few that had responded. And we are so glad to be hopefully adding them all to the team.
Yep.
And they're all wonderful.
Yeah.
They were. We spoke with some of them today and hopefully we can get this rolling and we'll have some new people.
Well, we will be making it official soon, Suspicious. So be on the lookout. Have a bolo. Be on the lookout for the announcements for our new team members. So, yes,
it's
exciting.
I know it is exciting. Oh my gosh, because our team was starting to dwindle a bit.
Yeah. And that
It's going to
happens.
be nice to have more people.
It will be. Yep. So more faces that you guys in the group can know who to contact if you need to or if you have questions or anything like that.
Exactly. It's always nice to have options.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So speaking of that, and coming up into next month, I think I made a post, and there are a couple of us have been in post about it, about stay tuned for February. February is our big annual giveaway. And when I say big, I mean big.
Huge. Ginormous.
Big. Last year, we've been doing a theme. So last February, it was the Founders giveaway. Natalie White, the Suspish Squad founder.
Yes.
The reason why we're all here
yes.
is so we did a Founders, and this year in our giveaway, it's just going to be the Suspish Squad, the team giveaway. So stay tuned for announcements, and that's going to take place from the 15th to the end of the month in February. So 15 to 28 February. Again, below that, be on the lookout for that. That's going to be coming soon. We're putting out some bolos for you, Suspicious. Stay tuned.
Yeah, that's going to be really exciting.
Yes.
That is going to be totally different from what we normally do. But it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be fun. Great prizes. As always for this. So there's a lot to look forward to. There'll be more posts and more information coming out kind of as we get there. We've got over a month yet before we even start. So our team is just in the planning process, and kind of soon we'll be in the execution process. And I mean,
there you go.
Doing it, not like execution.
Well, we are a murder mystery group. So.
We are. We are. And our challenges, you want to announce the winner for December's monthly challenge?
Yes. And our winner for December was Lady Peaky.
Lady Peaky! Yay! Congratulations!
So you know the drill. You've got to contact Natalie White.
Yes.
Within 2 weeks? Yeah, before the next Banter. Because if you don't respond, it's going to go to a redraw.
Else. That's right. It's going to go up for redraw, go to somebody else. So you want to make sure you have to watch to know if you win. You have to participate.
Exactly. Right.
And then you have to watch.
You got to participate and watch.
And we always do it by random, guys. So now, we mentioned this, not based on talent. So
exactly.
I don't know, segueing, I guess, into things that we do all the time. Murder mystery makeup. The last. So today, Suspicious, today that we're recording is the 8th.
Right.
Our Monday video for 2023, the first one comes out tomorrow. So Lorene and I are going to talk about the last one, which was not fun.
No. It was, well, none of them are really fun.
The hi-fi murders, where Drano is used as part of the events that took place.
Right.
Yeah, and one of the suspects that was in there was described as like a William Andrews. He was described as a very friendly person, like got along with everybody, was, kind of went with the flow, like very surprising of his participation.
Right.
Yeah, and then Bailey said, well, that's not the case because we're here.
Right. Exactly.
We're talking about it.
Exactly. Right. So what? This all happened in California?
No. It was in Utah. So it would have been like Salt Lake City area.
Right. That's right.
1974.
And being that this took place in Utah, it's just so weird because you don't hear about much crime coming out of Utah.
Well, that's true.
You know?
Well, so the thing is Dale, his name was Dale Pierre. He was the mind behind the madness of the day, and partnered up with William. They were both in the Air Force as helicopter mechanics, so they were stationed at Hill Air Force Base in Utah. Within the first week that Dale, when he got stationed out there was a murder.
Yes, there wasn't it the sergeant?
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was who was so in this part, Bailey, it was really funny too. And actually, I commented on her video on this part. She's like,
Uh,
needless to say, the bayonet did not belong in that sergeant's eye.
True. Exactly. So
And
you
she
know
went
it
on,
had to be somebody on base that did
yeah,
it.
yeah, because it was in
You
base,
know,
it was on base, and the reason why I guess
in
is
a military issued
yeah,
weapon
bayonet, which is just a rifle with a knife on the
with the
end of it.
blade on. Yeah,
Yeah, which is used for like close combat.
that right.
There's not enough distance for the shooting
Yeah.
part, so you
Civil War crap.
yeah. Which even in the 70s, I'm kind of surprised actually that they used bayonets in the 70s. So I guess Dale, people around the area, like on base and stuff, suspected Dale.
Right.
But they never really got enough information right
Mhm.
away. But
Right.
supposedly there was like an argument. He stole the sergeant's keys, and the sergeant was like, dude, I just saw you stick my keys in your pocket. And then, presumably some sort of altercation kind of took place after that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, and he was never
Within
tied.
the first week.
Yeah. Exactly. And I mean, that's why people suspected him, because everything was fine and dandy until he got there. And then once he gets there, all of a sudden, boom.
All this crazy stuff. And he never really conformed to military lifestyle.
Right.
He was like writing bad checks. I guess he had stolen a car off base. Not showing up to work, which is a huge no-no.
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Because I'm sure he was doing these things
Yes.
prior.
I'm sure he was. That's not something yeah. To be at a base within the first week and you kill somebody, I mean, that's not your first time.
Right.
You kill somebody with a bayonet, it's not the first
right.
time. It's not the... Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
His family were immigrants. They came from the islands, one of the islands in the Tobago, I can't remember, one of the islands in the Caribbean, and then when he was a teenager, they moved to New York City. So he would have joined from there.
Okay. Okay.
And maybe it was to avoid whatever mess he was in New York City.
Right.
Maybe.
True.
I mean, the 70s in New York City, you can ask Natalie, were not the safest place.
Right. But the 70s, 80s, those were all big times for serial killers.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know, we didn't have, I don't think we have them as much. I mean, we have them, but I don't think they're as prominent as they were back in the day because of all the forensic science.
Yeah, being able
and everything now
to link them all, and then the psychological profiling too, the behavioral science unit that the FBI put together, John Douglas and everything, where they were able to kind of build this psychological profile of what a serial killer may have. So there was no physical evidence to prove at that time that Dale killed the sergeant.
Correct.
So, but he does while at Hill Air Force Base meets William, and they become friends. And basically, William was like Dale's only friend.
Right. Yeah, he's the only one, because William was so nice
and friendly, and they worked together.
Nice and friend. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then what about that being your only friend that you go up to me like, hey man, I got an idea how we can get rich. We can get some money.
Right. Exactly. And he was all for it.
Mm-hmm. He was.
You know?
But I don't think, and this is where some of the critics, I guess, coming into, because they both did end up getting lethal injection.
Right.
Whereas William was never present when anything happened. Like, he was present, but...
Right.
He didn't do any of the murdering, and he wasn't.
And he had no idea of any of it.
He
just thought he was going in to rob the place, and walk out with the goods and be done with it. But Dale had other plans.
He did, and they end up going to this electronics store called Hi-Fi.
Uh-huh.
And the store wasn't closed yet, but the two employees were closing down.
Getting down, closing down, yep.
Yeah.
And they were two young employees. But yeah, so they're closing down. These guys come in.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to remember, though, it wasn't just Dale and William. There was 3 others involved as well.
They recruited a few people, yeah.
Yep. So they're closing down. They come into the store and pretty much throw the 2 employees down into the basement.
Yep. Not thinking. And that they should have locked the door.
The door. Exactly.
I mean, if it's already close to closing time and you lock the door already, then we're like, oh, I guess they locked up early. Not, no big deal. Especially if you looking in the glass, if they're not seeing anything.
Right. Exactly.
Everything's down in the basement.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, come on.
So,
be a good criminal.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. So they didn't lock the door, which means other people were open and go in. And I guess they didn't think about it.
No.
Because they weren't expecting somebody to walk in.
Right. Because everybody probably figured, it's closing time. Nobody's going to come,
Yep.
And, but lo and behold, that wasn't the case at all.
No.
He had
16-year-old Courtney.
6-year-old Courtney. Yeah. I guess used to hang out there.
Mm-hmm.
Used to park his car in the back or whatever and take the shortcut through the store to get, because he was there so often. So he was like a fixture, you know.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened. He come walking.
He probably knew the store was closing, so he knew in order to get, to his car behind, he's like, I need to get in there before they shut the door and lock the door. So that's all he planned on doing. Apparently.
Yep. And got caught.
He did. He got pushed down into the basement with the others.
Yep. So, and then as the time went on, they got the other people who were out there, stealing the equipment and what have you.
Keith Roberts. Oh, he killed himself.
Oh.
In 1992.
Oh, you know what? I think they might have took off.
I think when they were doing the Drano, because
when they started to do the other stuff, that's when they said, I'm out of here. So the whole thing was, so now you have these 3 young kids down in the basement.
Yep.
And you have worried parents at home.
Yep.
And so I believe Dad, Orrin, who was the father of Stanley, was the first to arrive. And again, doors are still open. Dad's thrown downstairs.
Yep.
And then a little while later, here comes Courtney's, who she just happened to see his car.
Yeah.
Parked outside of the Wi-Fi.
And knowing that
she was out looking for him.
Right. And knowing that's where he hung out there sometimes.
Right.
And then she sees the car.
Yep. So she goes into the store and gets thrown downstairs. And that's when the horror starts to unfold.
The more horror.
Yeah.
Because they're already tied up and, held hostage, essentially. I think they used duct tape on them.
And that's where the thing came in with the
Drano.
The Drano. And the whole Drano thing came from the Magnum Force movie.
Clint Eastwood movie. I guess.
Yes. And actually, it's so weird because it kind of plays into why things went the way they did. He's watched it in a movie. He's seen it.
It was like his favorite movie, I guess.
Yeah. The people died within seconds.
So
it's a movie.
I know. So Dale is expecting him to die like right away.
Right. And it didn't happen.
William even was like, dude, really? I think this was the first time he kind of challenged him. Like, this wasn't the plan. We weren't supposed to do this.
Exactly. In Dale's mind, I believe it was the plan all along,
Yeah.
but the rest of them
Didn't know
didn't
about it.
sign up for it.
Yeah,
They didn't
we
sign
did
up for
not
that.
sign up for this. So the other guys
Exactly.
take
Right.
off, and they're
And
like,
that's when the 3 took off.
yeah, they're like, I'm out of here. Which, I mean, yeah, you see that, and you're like,
Right.
no way, I am not being a part of this.
Ended up, so everybody had to drink the
Well,
Drano.
and they were
But
told it was vodka,
yeah, it was vodka and some kind of German
drug.
medication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were told, oh, don't worry about it, you know. So they,
Right.
yeah.
But everybody drank it except for one, Oren's father. Stanley's father, Oren.
Yeah.
And he kind of like let it dribble and fall to the wayside.
Somehow.
He still got burned mouth.
Yeah.
And everything. But so then the next thing, because so now all these people are, no, they couldn't have been tied up at the time because they were free to drink.
Well, that's true. Maybe they were let him go. I know they were bound at some point.
They were.
Yeah.
Because then after that, with the drinking of that, they tried to duct tape their mouths. But the duct tape wouldn't stick because of the burns from
the acid and stuff from the burns. It was too, ugh.
Yeah, there was nothing to stick to.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, there was nothing to stick to.
And then because they weren't dying as
quickly as he thought,
as the movie showed. Well,
that's when he started to shoot.
And again, William is like, I can't be a part of this. You're crazy. We can't do this.
Right. Yeah, he kept telling him, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this, you know?
Yeah.
And I believe that's when he left out and went upstairs and went outside.
Yeah.
So at this point in time, it's all Dale downstairs with them. And he shot Courtney, then shot Courtney's mother, Carol.
Yep.
Then he shot Stanley. And he shot Stanley's father, Oren.
Yep.
And then Michelle, he took Michelle, and other tragic things happened with her.
Yeah.
And then he brought her back and then ended up shooting her.
Yeah. After, so he assaults her. Then he goes and watches her pee.
Yeah.
I guess to make sure she was getting rid of evidence. I don't know, but it was repeated apparently too.
Right. Yeah.
And then whenever he was done, he kills her, shoots her.
Yeah. Yeah. So now he thinks everybody's dead. And lo and behold, here is Oren.
Yeah. This guy, bless him.
I'm telling you, he's a strong-willed person.
Very much so. So he gets shot, and then Dale realizes that he's still alive. He tried to choke him and strangle him with a wire, and somehow kept his mouth open enough, like throat open enough to.
He did something with his neck to where it left enough room for it to not strangle him.
Yeah.
But then Dale figured that out. And then that's when he went and took the ballpoint pen. I actually cringed.
Yes.
On that part where she talked about that he took that ballpoint pen and just jabbed it into his ear. And then stomped.
And then stomped on it to make sure it went in. But I guess how the angle, it went down because it came out of his throat. So it was like at a downward angle.
Yeah.
Thinking that would have killed him, he actually survived and talked and was interviewed by police
right
on
then
the scene.
At the scene. Yes. So after all this was said and done, and Oren's Oren was able to, tell the police what was it that got them to the Air Force base.
Oh, this is what Bailey said. She said 2 hours later, two teenage boys were dumpster diving near Hill Air Force Base, where Dale and William were stationed.
Right.
And they found the wallets and purses of the victims.
Right. Okay.
And they recognized pictures in the driver's license. The detective that went out there, so that would have led them to the base.
Right. Okay, that's what it was. That's right. And then upon descriptions from Oren and other witnesses, they put it together that it was Dale and William.
Yes.
And then this was the stupid part on them again as well. Why would you buy a storage locker to put everything in?
Yeah.
Because then they find the keys for that.
Yeah, in one of their rooms, I think. They found the key.
Right.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, what does this go to? A collection, so it says, a public storage facility. Following the issuance of a search warrant, stereo equipment taken from the hi-fi shop was found there. So I guess, all the participants knew that it was there. Because the other people who were also involved were taking the items while all of this, horrendous stuff was going on in the basement.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because the third person, Keith, he was also caught.
He was, yeah.
He was caught, but they never did the other two. Were they Air Force people?
They never charged him. I believe they were, because Keith was Air Force too. So you have these two other people that they were never identified, and of course Dale and William or Keith never said anything. So it was only 3 out of the 5 suspects that were actually caught.
And this is the part of the story, because both men ended up being executed.
Yeah.
And Dale was also because of the sergeant as well, because they ended up finding that he killed him. So here was the thing at the end of the story because they tried to commute William's sentence because he didn't actually do the murders.
Right. And wasn't even present when any of them were shot.
Right. Right. So why was he executed?
Well, I think
Keith not.
Well, that's true. Because Keith left the scene early too, I think before any of the murders took place.
I think he left right when the Drano part started.
Right.
That's when he took off. And then Keith left, and that's the thing too. Oren said William wasn't there when all that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the actual victim's testimony, but the man was still
and they could have, I can't remember if Keith was used as immunity, they could have used his testimony to help further convict Dale and William. Okay. It's possible. Which is also might have been why he never was never sentenced. Actually, he got 5 years for aggravated robbery.
Okay.
Keith did, but he wasn't convicted of murder. But he was convicted of robbery because he was part of that, and they did find the things that he was part of the robbery in the place.
Right.
But William and Dale were the only two that were there left when all the murders happened. And I think too because William could have stopped him at any time. He was already kind of objecting to it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he just didn't want to piss his friend off or something. I don't know. But he
probably didn't want to become a victim
himself. He did say that. He was scared of Dale.
Yeah. Right, he did. Yes. Yeah. Numerous times he did say he was scared of him.
Yeah. It varies by state law, federal law.
I was going to say, doesn't it go by state to state on how that goes about? It
absolutely could vary on as far as the punishment, and then because there's some states out there that if you're a conspiracy to commit any kind of crime, a lot of times you get just as much even if you didn't do it but you were part of it. Because it's basically, failure to report a crime and aiding and abetting and
right.
Like,
Now,
yeah.
does because I really can't see it, but I mean, this is 1970s. These are the 70s, so it was a whole different time back then.
Yeah.
But now, is Utah even a death penalty state anymore?
I don't think so.
Because I know there's not
Hey,
too
Alexa,
many.
is Utah a death penalty state?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, the states that still have the death penalty are South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, and Wyoming. The federal government and the United States military also still have the death penalty.
Thanks, Alexa.
Yeah, so that
was a crazy story, and
it was.
She always has amazing stories, and I can't wait to see tomorrow's when it comes out. This will probably by the time I get a chance to editing it and putting it out,
Right,
exactly.
After. And she cracks me up because when she starts laughing at things, and she feels so bad because she's laughing, but that's just her.
She's laughing and she's like, I'm not laughing. It's not funny. And she's like, I'm just laughing because it's uncomfortable.
Well, exactly. Exactly.
And it is uncomfortable.
It is. It is.
And then, guys, just stay tuned for the things we got coming up, the new challenges for the month, and then our big, huge annual giveaway in February. It's big. It's huge.
Huge. It's humongous.
You don't want to miss it, guys.
Right? Exactly. Lots of fun things going on. And new people to meet.
Yes. We'll make those announcements and things coming up shortly in the group. So, Lorene, love you. Great to see
Love you.
Beautiful.
You too.
And I guess we'll be seeing you soon. Bye,
Alrighty.
Suspicious. Bye, Lorene.
Bye.